thank you very much for such a nice introduction. Thank you all for being here. You see, we really are friends today. That's a lucky coincidence, right? I just praise these wonderful characters because they're not just technical, but they also seem to be so friendly. So I decided actually to put them on my first slide for you. The talk indeed is about the right to create the world around you. I think that is not a privilege of just a few people who call themselves designers. I think we all have the right to create. And I take you through a little bit of history to explain that, because I don't think that we can look into the future. I don't believe in any predictions. I do believe in a vision, though. This on the screen is a lamp. And it's a very good lamp. It's the most efficient lamp to date, almost. We use it to light football stadiums where you need a lot of light of very high quality for TV recordings. And innovation of this lamp just meant to make a better lamp that gives better light or more light for the same power or nicer colors or something like that. But innovation was just another step. And the creation of that lamp happened very much like this. This is, of course, much longer ago. I showed you a lamp of today, but in that whole process, in my view, not much has changed. This is an actual photograph of the Philips laboratory at the start of the company, perhaps, or maybe in the 50s or 60s. I couldn't trace it. There might be somebody in the room who knows more of it. I would love to know. And we also made advertising about lamps, right? A better, more innovative lamp is simply a better product, a piece of hardware. And it made companies such as the one here very, very large. And that way they could make more, better lamps. And that is what fed innovation. And now we are sitting here together in this beautiful building, talking about the future, about health. And I want to stress that this is not just about our physical health, our heart that keeps on going and our skin that doesn't show red pimples or whatever. This is a lot about mental health. I think when people connect with each other, when they go out, when they are encouraged to discover, when they stimulate each other in their curiosity and things like that, that is what gives us mental health. I think that is the most relevant innovation that we can make. And I just wanted to share this irrelevant photograph with you. This was in 1970 here in this building. This robot is called Sensor, and it's remarkable actually how it links to the video that we just saw, which was pretty amazing, by Edward Inatovic, the first interactive robot, demonstrated here in the Evoluon as a symbol of innovation. Today, innovation is more like this. You see, I don't show the lamp anymore. I show the application, how it becomes important in the life of people. In this case, the driver of a car. How the light gives him more safety or perhaps more status or image, or how it just gives a better, more exciting experience. The question is, how can we achieve that with these tiny semiconductors, for example, which is much what my profession is all about these days. This is an LED light. And a couple fit on the nail of my pink. They are very, very small. Or this one. How do we create relevance out of that? Because there are problems these days that we can only solve by thinking very, very different about the ways to solve them. And the key, in my view, is to team up and to innovate together. To create relevance because you understand each other better than just by staying in your laboratory. To innovate because you listen to each other and you encourage each other to come up with solutions that you would not have come up without each other. So this talk is really about the creation of relevance. Because if companies keep on making products that are just products, and we buy them, but after 6 weeks they just collect dust in the corner of your living room somewhere. We all have this experience, don't we? Then there's not much relevance in these products, and certainly they do not contribute to your mental health, which is about inclusion, connection to other people, inspiring each other. So it's really about these people. It's about everybody. How can we design all together? How can we make design a right and not a privilege of just a few? And when we send these people to something like this, and we ask them what they feel and how they move around and what it evokes for them, you get very interesting answers, and they might be very unexpected for the technicians that put this wonderful sculpture together. Or when you think together about Glenn Howard Small, the architect who saw a fusion of nature, people, work, living, the rain that falls down and you enjoy it, and the green is all around. This is called the green machine. When you think together about it, you may find answers to how this could be realized today. This is another example of his very intriguing work, I think, that truly fuses our living environment with the nature. And this is one of the other few buildings that was built by Glenn Howard Small. So let me take you to a different environment. Now, this seems to be one of the most pleasant places that you can think of. But when I look at this through the eyes of the building engineer, with the code, the building standards on his desk, he would reject this immediately because it's too hot, too rich in contrast, too much light, maybe not enough humidity in the air, or all kinds of things like that. All our buildings are not designed for inspiration. They're not designed for encouragement and to go and interact. They're designed to avoid the biggest discomforts. And don't think that I exaggerate, because these rules have been compiled already 25 years ago in laboratories where they put people in static climatic conditions and just ask them, are you cold? Are you warm? Do you feel dry, or do you start sweating? And then came these codes, and we still build our buildings like this, and not like this place, where you feel the breeze and where you can taste the salt and where you can choose to go in shadow or sunshine. We treat ourselves more like this, don't we? I mean, this grows well under static conditions, but we're humans, so this is already a lot better, isn't it? This guy can do his work inside or outside. He can hear the water, or he can go for silence. We actually give him choice. That's a way to design your own environment. That's what I call inclusion. So I think that a better and healthier place for work and living is about embracing the humans that occupy that place and truly understanding them in a very profound way. Creating an experience that is perhaps more multi-sensory than we think about it now. At least a space where we are not put slowly to sleep, like how most of our offices are today. The question is, with whom am I going to do that? Because you or me alone, we don't have the key. We don't understand the solution in this complex world. We do need to team up and include everybody, give all of you the right to design these spaces and find the solutions together. Because if you now want to advertise a car, a very prestigious car, let's say an Aston Martin, and you want to do something that hasn't been done before, then you can turn to a lighting company and ask them to put the lights on it. You can turn to an artist and ask the artist to put the car in a certain context. You can perhaps turn to an interior designer, or you turn to all three. And the result is this: an amazing cloud of light that gives a completely different view on that object that becomes suddenly a sculpture, a work of art. This is done by Jason Bruges, the artist designer from London. And I think it's brilliant in its multidisciplinary character. Or you give people objects that respond unexpectedly, and they shape up their environment themselves. Or you even let them communicate in different ways. This is a project that we did some years ago. This dress senses three things in your body: your heartbeat, your breath, and also the conductivity of your skin. That means that this dress pretty much can analyze your emotions. So if you feel scared, it perhaps turns red. If you feel excited, it may turn yellow. it responds to your environment, to your inner emotions, and it makes an environment around you and also something to observe by others. And that way evokes interaction. That's the ultimate design your own space, design yourself kind of thing that I can imagine. And this is currently going on display in an exhibition in Vienna about intimate technologies and things like wearable tech. This is another example of a wall that responds to you, where you can shape the light yourself. And this is just another photograph of a very successful team that developed the first Apple Macintosh computer. That could not have been done without all these different influxes of ideas and expertise. A fine example of a collaborative effort. This is more today, where manufacturers and hospitals team up to create an environment which is not only good for the doctor to do his work, but also for the patient, a fine place to be quiet about what is going to happen. Because we know that if the first scan is successful, the whole thing of getting scanned is much more affordable, and the wait list goes shorter on top of everything. So we try to make the first scan a success, but therefore you have to stand still. So a quiet, soothing environment that you can actually design yourself by means of colors and imagery is a success factor in this hospital solution, which is, I think, quite innovative. Now, in order to understand that, we consider what the customer experiences anywhere, just a long flow of events, happenings, moments, and choices. And we map it like this. And then we come up with a proposition. Now, when you propose, what are you doing? When you propose, you're getting married, right? A proposition is like a marriage. It's a relationship forever. At least that's what you think when you propose, right? So, and as I told you, then we engage all these customer stakeholders in the design process, because design is a right. It's not just a privilege of a few. The right to create and the reward of it. Now, what is the reward? Of course, the excitement about your own environment. And we don't forget to think with your hands, because that's easy to communicate and understood by all. So in a sense, we are open. Big companies should open up and just allow innovation processes that engage many more than just their own scientists and engineers. Because we are moving from this lamp, and that's just another example, to a gazillion different options that all look more or less like this, or just getting smaller than this. But ultimately, regardless of what brand it is, it's the customer who decides what we are doing with it and what they are doing with it. They are doing this with it. I mean, I just browsed and collected a few pictures for you. They're doing this with it, you know. They're doing this with it. This is a jumper cable to charge your battery, and I cannot help but seeing a monster in there, you know. Do you see it? So they're doing this with it. Oh my God, the mushrooms, yeah, that's a nice one, right? So it's all about being participative, and that is very, very rewarding, like these two directors of a big national museum, or these Taiwanese people who own a department store that looks like this the first time the lights went turned on, and then it became this. And they were part of that, and they helped making it so beautiful. It's all about teamwork that is also really orchestrated like that. It's about a process that is deliberately about engagement and inclusion. It's about being together. I have very few text slides, but as you can see, relevance, the creation of it, and the togetherness of the team, that is basically my whole story. I have a few more minutes. I try to give you a few more examples. When you have pain in your back, you can take painkiller, or you add blue light to your skin, because we discovered in the lab that blue light promotes oxygen in your blood, which is the best painkiller you can imagine. So it takes two people, design and science, to create such a relevant solution. And it takes a collaborative process, as you can see. And communication should go really fast. If you take a picture now of the screen, you'll get more information about this talk. That's pretty incredible. And we use these technologies to facilitate these inclusive processes and get everybody engaged. This little baby suffers from a yellow skin, like how many babies do. But instead of a big uncomfortable lamp above him, we can now wrap him in a soft blanket. He's comforted, the parents are more comfortable, the nurse can do her work. It takes design, technology, and a marketing proposition to understand that fully and to bring that together into a really relevant solution. This is further ahead of us. It's a lamp that gives light because bacteria are in there that emit this beautiful, soft, glowing green light. We believe we can feed it with waste, with human waste if you want. But it takes biologists and engineers and artists together to create this solution. Otherwise, we would never, ever have gotten there. And that's just another picture, so it gives you a sense of scale. It's about this large as an object, a beautiful object. This guy wants to do training also at night. So he fabricated himself a powerful headlight. We thought we can do that better, and we created something together with the cyclists, because we understand much more now about what drives them and how they actually make their decisions when they buy something like that. And this guy is testing all of them. I thought it's an amazing picture. And the next generation is the bicycle where the light is integrated, because we hear from school kids that other school kids cut the wires of their lamps. So we did something like this together with a bicycle manufacturer. In the classroom, we changed the color temperature of the light, so we can help the kids to be quiet and concentrated when they need it. And they can be active when they interact with the teacher or with each other. And here you see the different lighting conditions. It takes collaboration with teachers and parents to understand that and to make that proposition real. This is a painting, a very famous one, where the head of presentations of the Rijksmuseum, the National Museum, is actually engaged in creating the new lighting for that painting, together with our designers and engineers. And we have learned so much about passive conservation of art, of oil paintings, for example, and we never knew about that before. So I have many more examples, as you can see, but we're running a little bit out of time. I think this is a beautiful illustration by a company called Arab, who says, sustainability is not only about zero carbon materials, ecology, energy consumption. There is a people aspect to it. A sustainable building is not only about this, and these are my words that I've added to the chart. It's not only about sustainability, it's about the ability to sustain, which means that you care about people, their identity, their connections, keeping everybody inclusive, their orientation in the building, how they move and where they go. That is the true ability to sustain as a company, because then you attract talent and you give them a great and inspiring place. So I took the liberty to merge these two charts together and see it as one system. So I really have to wrap up. I have a couple more examples, but I think I leave it with this. My credo for tonight is make relevance and make it together. Thank you very much for your attention.